A TikToker responded to those who are calling Black people colonizers. I know you're not talking to me. On TikTok, there have been people saying that Black people are complicit with the war in Gaza and they are colonizers. I need you to see this.
Every race in America has oppressed us. Black people also wear a uniform and get on a plane and come to our countries and kill us. You vote the same melanated people into government that signed papers to kill us. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it. You are our colonizers.
Because you are all complicit. I don't know. I'm Iraqi. I came to America 6 years ago solely for just education because that's the least y'all could do to, I don't know, give me some sort of compensation for displacing my family. But that the government coerces you to join the military. So basically, you guys join the military to kill my people, displace our people.
Look, U.S. policy is what it is, and it is directly related to the things that these TikTokers are talking about. Singling out Black people, though.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Well, I want you to hear this response before I give you my take on it. The woman's name is J. Minnie. Let's hear it.
Right. So I'm going to say a few things and then I'm going to leave the conversation. Every tax-paying American and eligible voter technically has a hand in imperialism because of what our tax dollars fund and who we elect into office. But the thing is, we live in a world with nuance. You condemn us for enlisting and voting for lesser evils as if there is a way around the system and we're just shamelessly choosing to be part of the problem. If you were to condemn someone for buying from Starbucks knowing that they support Israel, that's reasonable because it's 100% a choice at this point. Like, it's not a necessity. But if you were to shame someone who shops at Walmart when it may be the only thing that they can afford or the only grocery store within their vicinity that they have access to, that's not reasonable. Both consumers are buying from corporations that fund genocide. But it's not that black and white, is it? You willingly came here to receive an education, also secure a better future for yourself. Black people are doing the same thing when they enlist. You accepted an opportunity offered through a government that you know is actively oppressing others. You work here and contribute to our economy and society. So how are you absolved of the same responsibility you say we have in the matter? You acknowledge that they coerce vulnerable children and young adults into enlisting. They take advantage of people's ignorance and desperation and dangle basic human needs in front of suffering people, offering shelter and money and education and healthcare, a future, a life. And they're the ones catching a stray for wanting to survive? You say we owe you because of the harm we caused you. You speak in a very general manner when regarding us. So you were telling us, descendants of slavery, the people who experience massacres on this land, the people who have whole towns under bodies of water, the people whose communities were also bombed and continue to be terrorized by the same government that bombed and terrorizes yours, the people who are also experiencing displacement due to gentrifying. You were telling those people that they owe you compensation when they have yet to receive their own reparations. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup.
The reason I wanted J. Minnie to go first is because I think that sums it up perfectly. What more do I need to say? Maybe I don't need to say anything, but I will. Imperfect system not built for us. That's the bottom line of her statements there. It's not built for us. So why are you coming at me? And it doesn't even mean that there's not something in there. We obviously saw the tears, the pain, the ongoing suffering, the carnage, what many are calling genocide. And the United States is supplying weapons. And even last night, pledged support for Israel to defend itself. In the middle of all this discourse, TikToker Ash Bay talked about the history. Remember, there's a solidarity between Black community and Palestinians. Watch that.
The topic of solidarity between Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba, and the issue of Black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other, but are inextricably linked in their histories. Support for the freedom of Palestinians has been an element of the Black Panther Party, of the Black Lives Matter movement, of the ending of apartheid in South Africa. Nelson Mandela, after his release from prison in 1990, embraced Yasser Arafat. In 1997, he said, "We know our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause. Several months before his assassination, he visited the Gaza Strip and was completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be internally colonized and stated that Black Americans and Palestinians were essentially treated as third world peoples who were oppressed by colonialism and imperialism together. In more recent history, in 2014, in the Ferguson uprising, Palestinians online showed support, expressed solidarity, and offered advice to protesters in Ferguson. And there were chants that gained prominence at this time. From Ferguson to Palestine, occupation is a crime. These liberation movements have been linked for decades. And this is one of the first times that we're seeing such a divide where we're being told that our values don't align with one another, and that is not the case. Both of these groups are aware that we're in a lose-lose situation with this current election. On one hand, we have Trump, who we are very aware is not good for Palestinians or for Black Americans. And on the other hand, we have Kamala Harris, who has also proven that she is not good for Palestinians or Black Americans. And we're sitting here so incredibly divided over what the right answer is when there's no clear answer for anybody. It doesn't turn out good for anybody. I mean, I have seen so much division on this app in the last couple of days. I think we need to sit down and have more open and honest conversations about how this election cycle impacts different minority communities. What they are afraid of is our unity. And we talk so much about harm reduction. I think the most harm reductive thing we could do is put our collective voices together and use them to pressure her campaign to actually vote in the interests of the American people, to adopt policies that we want to see on our ballots, rather than just blindly following her platform as it is currently. We can say we intend to vote for Kamala Harris, but demand that she do better for Palestinians and for Black Americans.
Wow. I mean, isn't that the way it's supposed to work? That's the way it's supposed to work. It's my vote. I'll use it how I wish, and I'll hold you accountable. Got to do the work. But there's this other thing that Donald Trump discovered, and that's how he rose to the presidency. That with the help of Putin. Okay. And maybe, Egypt. How about that $10 million? Is anybody going to investigate that? Suddenly popped up somewhere. US dollars. I want small bills, 10 million of them sent to the White House. So at any rate, if you keep people divided, then it's tougher to hold you accountable, right? When poor white people are accusing Black and brown people of stealing their economic fertility, they don't notice that the 1%ers, like from Elon Musk and others, are eating all the pie. You're too busy looking at your neighbor who also can't fix their roof or maybe their car. Maybe it's just sitting on their lawn if they have one. Won't run. They don't have the money, the jobs, nothing. They're so divided and pitted against each other with false narratives that we've been suckered into believing. That's what she was saying. That's what she was saying. Stick together. I was in Ferguson. I saw the signs. I heard the chants. This didn't just begin with Cori Bush, representative now appearing to be on her way out as she was targeted by some in her own party, but also AIPAC. But this was a grassroots movement of people who said, oh, I'm brown too. I get it. Oh, we definitely get it. Okay. That's what she's saying. So I'm not suggesting that that was a bot or the tears weren't real. The young lady who talked about pain and colonization and just was in anguish. But I am suggesting that by design, we are propped up not to be united. Even when we've naturally come together, someone And maybe that's the bots who are putting things out there. Don't put it past them to say, we got to break them up. Got a little bit too much power here. A little bit too much power.